MABA Stadium is the setting today for the ABL on Fox as the Westports Malaysia Dragons host the Saigon Heat. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Kuala Lumpur. Alongside Ben Ibrahim, I'm Sean Farquhar. The Malaysia Dragons today, winners of 5 of their last 7, meet a Saigon Heat team that are in real trouble. They have dropped 6 straight games coming into tonight's contest. The Dragons have beaten them both times they have played them this season, Ben. However, it's a different Saigon Heat today as they get back the ABL's leading scorer.
That's right. He's not just the leading scorer, Sean, but he's one of their main bigs. I call this type of player, Dear Lohorn, a triple threat player. He can defend, he can shoot, and he can definitely dunk it, averaging 27 points per game and 10 rebounds this season, the #1 scorer in the ABL.
And an opposing front line, along with David Palmer for the Saigon Heat. They come into this game short-handed. Jason Robideau, the coach, has only brought 9 players to Kuala Lumpur. We'll see if that is a factor in the 3rd and 4th quarters. Meanwhile, for the Westports Malaysia Dragons, injuries have meant all kinds of personnel changes. Marcus Hubbard taking over for the released Sammy Monroe, who in turn took over for the injured Cedric Bozeman. So lots of changes, but they look like they have a keeper in Marcus Hubbard.
Oh, Marcus Hubbard, what a replacement. This guy has played 3 games for the LA Clippers, and he told me in training this week, I'm going to come back to the NBA. So this man, unfinished business, and as we can see on our screen, a great imposing player, 6'9", just turning 30 this season. And Sean, he was electric last week against Singapore.
Yes, this game played 7 days ago right here at MABA Stadium. You saw it on Fox. Marcus Hubbard there, explosive, rocking the rim on his way to 17 points and 12 rebounds. And look at the 5th gear here of Marcus Hubbard. And that is a player that is going to be very difficult to contend with. The other change for the Malaysia Dragons of late, Julius Armand taking over for Pat Kabahag, who's out with an ankle sprain.
Born in August the 25th, 1989, 23 years of age, 6'3", averages 2 points per game, 0 rebounds. Don't look too much into it because this guy is a swingman. Look at him here, just the reverse, and he's full of confidence, Sean. Coach Ariel told me in training this week that all he needs is more game time, and he can be better than Patrick Kabahag.
Yeah, limited minutes in his first game for the Dragons last week, but we expect to see more of him tonight against the Saigon Heat. ABL standings look like this. The Westports Malaysia Dragons 3 games behind in the loss column, chasing the Warriors and Beermen. The Saigon Heat at 3 of 7, a very critical stretch for them. Starting tonight, they have 3 games all on the road in 6 days. They play Singapore on Sunday, and then they will go to Jakarta and meet the defending ABL champion Indonesia Warriors on Wednesday. For more on tonight's game and the Westports Malaysia Dragons, let's send it over to Lenora Lowe.
While you guys are talking about the imports and injuries, we are also having a look at our local players who are plagued with injuries. John Ng, he's actually having a gallbladder condition and will be heading for surgery. He will probably be out to the end of May according to the management. And Lo Shifai is also going to be out for the game indefinitely because he's got soreness in his knee, the same knee which had ACL surgery. But either way, it's going to be an awesome game. Stay with us. We're going for a short break. This is ABL on Fox.
just heard Negaraku, the Malaysian national anthem. We are back at MABA Stadium, just about set for the opening tip between the Westport Malaysia Dragons and the Saigon Heat. The Heat looking to get off the Schneid bend, drop 6 straight games, including 2 at their home court at the ABL Hoops Fest, Ton Bin Stadium. Previously, a real aura of invincibility for the Saigon Heat. That has been punctured, and they are now on the business end of the ABL standings.
Very much so, and this is the starting 5 for the Malaysia Dragons. Looks like Coach Ariel Bangwadia is going to start with his bigs, Edwards, Tautua, Hubbard, Bunsin Oi there to press Alvaguera and Jai Reyes. So, defensively they can loosen them up. But the bigs here, it's a really, really good starting 5 here, Sean.
So that's the starting 5 for the Westport Malaysia Dragons. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Saigon Heat. As mentioned, Jason Robideau only bringing 9 players to Kuala Lumpur. Jai Reyes is in the backcourt with Al Vergara and Ariel Vanguardia, coach of the Dragons, saying they're one of the best backcourt combinations in the league. David Palmer at the center spot. Dior Lauhorn is the power forward. And Larry Chu, who only goes 1.91 meters, is the small forward. And that's really an indication of how thin this Saigon Heat team is.
Yeah, very good point, Sean. But don't let that team, that very thin team, fool you. Because even though this Saigon Heat team doesn't have very many bigs, they've only got 2 bigs, but they've got guys who can shoot. Jai Reyes last season with the Bangkok Cobras was a pretty good shooter. Al Vergara, even though a 6-man with the Asia Patriots last season, still a very good shooter. Larry too, on his very, very good day, he can also bring down the rain. And Palmer is the best 3-point shooter in the league. Average 3-point percentage is 47%.
Yeah, taking over for Guga, the Malaysian player, previously the #1 3-point shooter in the ABL. So the Saigon Heat begin a stretch of 3 games in 6 days. They have not played since the ABL Hoops Fest, which they hosted in mid-March. Fans have made their way here into Chinatown at MABA Stadium. Westport Malaysia Dragons with Gavin Edwards, 23 points on just 13 shots a week ago as the Dragons blew out the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers. So it'll be Edwards to tip it up with David Palmer. And Palmer goes through some pregame calisthenics.
But I must say, Sean, I got to tell you and the viewers that this Dragons team, they've never really been a very defensive team, but last Friday against the Singapore Slingers, they had their best defensive game, grabbing 14 steals, and out of those 14 steals, they managed to convert 21 points.
Limited the Slingers to 63 points, and off the tip it is controlled by Al Vergara and the Saigon Heat. He has Bon Sin Wee on him. Jai Reyes with Melton. Dragons come out in zone defense. Palmer from outside, 3-point shot is short. He will take that all night long. Gets his own miss. Lauhorn from the free throw line. And taken off the rim by Edwards. Bon Sin Wee outlets. Melton will put up the 3. Lauhorn clearing glass. Vergara picked up by Saigon just a couple of games ago. Loose ball, and that is taken out of bounds, and the Heat will have it with 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, Dragons a bit slow and not very aggressive in the follow-through and the rushing to get the ball, Sean. That's something they worked on training this week, so they've got to improve on that and stay consistent with that.
Reyes back to Palmer. Underneath, Lauhorn catching that entry pass, double pumps, takes it off the rim, still can't score, and coming up with it is Mouse Melton.
Let's go, Dragons, let's go! Let's go, Dragons, let's go!
From the free throw line, Edwards, swish!
Well, that's what they're doing. That's what they worked on training this week, getting it to their big Sean in the high post.
Gavin Edwards has been with the Dragons since the start of the season, the lone constant among the imports for Malaysia. From the top, Lauhorn, 3-ball. Hubbard pulls down the rebound. Melton shifts gears, tough shot, Edwards. Offensive board and the score. He has both field goals.
Well, that's better in transition from the Dragons, really transferring over and not being slack. And Gavin Edwards, full credit to him. He wasn't the best rebounder at the start of the season. He's got more aggressive in his game. But early days yet, Sean.
Larry Tew had his first touch. Reyes, Lauhorn from outside. So he's missed his first 3 shots. Bond in transition. Here's Edwards, finger roll. Larry Tew committing the foul, putting Gavin Edwards on the line.
Sean, what we saw in Hoops Fest in Saigon is when Vietnam came out, they came out firing, shooting threes, and they were connecting with those threes. The problem in that game was they weren't consistent, they were a little bit one-dimensional, and they couldn't hold it to 4 quarters. Looks like they're really, really struggling here a little bit to get into gear.
Edwards at the line, averaging a double-double for the Dragons. 16 points, 11 rebounds all season. 1 miss, 1 make, and it's a 5-0 Dragons lead.
Defense! 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 Defense!
Palmer over for 2. Tough matchup for him with Moala Tautua. And a foul off the ball. That is on David Palmer, as he got tangled up with Bon Sin-Wee on the perimeter. That is a poor foul for Palmer and the Heat. Tautua. And Bond calling for the screen. Collision there, no foul call. Jai Reyes gallops down the floor and very much off balance. He's hacked in the act.
Well, that was a play there by the Dragons. They were trying to get it to the high post, get it to the bigs. The key in this game is to get it to the bigs so they can look for the mismatch. As we can see here, Larry Tew going up for the layup, and yeah, there is connection there. So good call by the referees.
Yes, a correction needed on my part. Larry Tew, not Jai Reyes. Tew, a Vietnamese American, originally from Los Angeles.
Also eligible to play in the Vietnamese SEA Games team this year, I've been told, because his parents are Vietnamese, even though he holds an American passport.
Ben Ibrahim with a SEA Games update. Nicely done. Here's Melton. Melton stepping into the lane and scoring with ease.
Great split of the defense there by Justin Melton. He may be a short guy at 5'11", but he's courageous.
Defense! Defense!
Tew whipping it. Reyes had it squirt out of his hands, and behind everyone, high off and Hubbard! Off the glass and deep from Melton, and MABA Stadium goes nuts.
That's why they got to look at this, off the glass, and just throws it down using his size, and he's pumped up. The Dragons are pumped up. The Saigon Heat really need to reevaluate to come back into this game.
Jason Robideau calling timeout with 6:27 to go in the first quarter. The Dragons have come out red hot, and they lead the Saigon Heat 9-1. We'll step away and return to MABA Stadium. You're watching the ABL on Fox. Game underway here with 6:07 to go in the first quarter. If you're just tuning in, the Westport Malaysia Dragons on their home floor, leading it 9-1 over the Saigon Heat. They're looking for their 6th win, Malaysia is, in their last 8 games. Here's Marcus Hubbard inside, and he rocks the rim with authority.
Now that is what the offensive sets that the Dragons worked on all week. Get it to the deep corner, make sure the guy who does the screen seals it and dunks it. The big, that is.
Lauhorn from outside, coming back from that fever that kept him out of hoops fast, and he is now 0 for 4 from the field. Bond crossover, kick back outside, Hubbard. Great ball distribution by the Dragons. Here's Edwards going inside. He toasts Lauhorn.
Lauhorn still not at 100%. Looks like he's put on a little bit of weight as well. He's a bit heavy on the feet.
A little bump there on Melton from Lauhorn. Palmer, 3-ball. Heat still looking for their first basket. Left side 3. Lauhorn coming up with it. Reyes, he draws contact. It's Bond on the foul. With 4:44 remaining in the first quarter. 2 team fouls apiece for Malaysia and Saigon. Chris Sumalanog in the game. His pass tipped away. Bond looking for trailers. It's Edwards. His dunk attempt thwarted, but Sumalanog commits the foul in the process.
As we can see here, Bond, very, very good vision to see the open Edwards. Tries to throw it down, but a bit too much aggression and power there, but he draws the foul. Gavin Edwards having a great start to this game. Sometimes he's a bit slower than blocks. But Coach Ariel has said, I want more from you, and he's giving that at the moment. But early days yet, Sean.
Former Yukon Husky, now 2 of 3 at the line. Heat have started ice cold. They are in search of their first field goal. Reyes slithering into the lane, dumps off. Lauhorn, easy basket off the glass.
They really need more of that, Sean. More offensive set, good movement around the paint, and looking for the bigs. This is a big Dragons team, so you need to go look for the mismatch and go for the basket.
Skip pass, Edwards, turnaround Jay. Reyes scampering across the floor. Lauhorn puts up the triple. Lauhorn now 1 of 6. Hubbard, they swing it, corner 3. Yes!
Bansin Hoy. Now this is a man that will probably give you 6 or 7 points per game. He only averages 3 points per game, 1 rebound and 1 assist. Average field goal percentage, 27%. And that is a foul.
Yeah, a reach-in foul called on Marcus Hubbard. Let's see if we can have another look at this one. And contact on the left arm of David Palmer.
That's a fair call, Sean. Let's look at that there. There was contact. So don't know what Marcus is arguing about because, yeah, good call by the referee.
3rd team foul on the Malaysia Dragons. Get a good look at Jason Robideau in his 2nd season as the head coach of the Saigon Heat. They try to go inside now. Left side drive comes up short. Very little working for Saigon. Guga underneath, alley-oop. Hubbard unable to finish. As Guga had just checked into the game along with Julius Armon. Air ball. And the Heat are really struggling, Ben,
Yeah,
to find baskets.
They are struggling big time, Sean. Their execution is just not there, just not making shots. But I just do want to say, have a look out for Julius Armand. The way he moves his feet when he's in the game is quite exciting to watch.
Samalanag taking it away, and Edwards taps that out. Heat will have it with 21 seconds on the shot clock. Dragons here with a 2-touchdown lead.
Defense! Defense!
Two,
Defense!
3 ball, and Edwards ripping it down. Guga waits for the Dragons to set up in the half court. Hubbard. One and out for Malaysia. Larry Chu back onto the floor.
Defense! Defense! Defense!
Reyes finding a seam. Malaysia with active hands in the restricted area. Sayasilan Kupasamy going inside, whip back out. Hubbard into traffic. And the foul was on the floor.
Looks like Coach Ariel is trying to give his local players, Sean, a bit more game time. Guys like Sealan and Chi Li Wei, number 37. He's a part-time player with the team, so they need the exposure.
Sealan's pass, blocked from behind. Still Dragons ball with 12 seconds on the shot clock. Hubbard, they are wary of him with 3 seconds. He gets all caught.
Great execution by the big man. He's been working on his shooting ever since he came back to Malaysia. That's one of his part of his game that he's trying to consistent. Good dunk.
Lauhorn with the flush. Just the second field goal for the Heat in this first quarter. Guga down the middle. Jai Reyes going inside out, but not before he's hacked. Edwards replaces Hubbard for the Dragons. So it's Chi, Armand, Guga, Edwards, and Sealan for Malaysia. Palmer, Chu, Reyes, Lauhorn, and Samalanag. He goes inside to Lauhorn, gets the defender off his feet and scores. D-Hole Lauhorn has been the total sum of the Heat offense.
Excellent aggression there in the paint by Lauhorn. He just knows he was stronger than Edwards, so he just bumped him off and went in.
Armand in rhythm, gets his own miss, fakes, fade away. 2 shots, nothing doing for Armand. Palmer kicks it out, and that is sloppy on the part of Saigon.
Don't know if it's just me, Sean, but that did look like a Saigon ball. But referees have the better view.
1 second differential between game clock and shot clock as the first quarter winds down. Armand thought about it. Guga. Edwards, 5 seconds. Palmer, and Saigon can get one off. Put up. Just 7 points for Saigon, the Westport Malaysia Dragons, with a promising start here at MABA Stadium. They lead 19-7, second quarter when we return on Fox Sports. at MABA Stadium, second quarter, set to roll. The Westport Malaysia Dragons leading the Saigon Heat 19-7. Lenora Lowe, Ben Ibrahim, and Sean Farquhar with you for this one. You see Pat Kabahug seated over on the side, along with Cedric Bozeman, John Ung, Lo Shi-Fai. The walking wounded, Ben, for the Malaysia Dragons. All those players injured. Multiple personnel changes has been the story for the Malaysia Dragons this season.
Yes, but last season, the owner of the team, Dato, said he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to change it up because the season before that, he changed the imports, and that sort of disabled the structure and the unity of the team. So, but this season, I think they've learned from last season that, you know, you need fresh players sometimes, and Hubbard is a refreshing player.
Hubbard handing off to Seelan. Tried to work the pick and roll. For the Saigon Heat team, a first quarter just bereft of offense. Dior Lauhorn, a couple of field goals and nothing else. Here's Reyes to Palmer, handing off. Good play run by Saigon to begin this second quarter. Getting Palmer untracked after a first quarter when he had nothing. Seelan changes his shot. Armand, turnaround. And he's cold to begin this game.
Execution a little bit sloppy here from the Dragons. Sean, some of the Dragons like Seelan showing that bit of rustiness in the team.
Oh, tough angle, Armand. The basket and the foul. Jai Reyes gets undressed.
Told you it was quick. Let's look at this here. Has the ball one-on-one. Just changes hand. Bank shot in.
Reyes complaining that he had his feet set. He will come out of the game. Again, Julius Armand, a Filipino-American, pressed into duty by the Malaysia Dragons with the ankle injury to Pat Kabahug, their ASEAN mainstay.
Father is from New Orleans and they grew up in California. He almost played in the D-League, Sean, but he did a U-turn and decided to play for the Westports Malaysia Dragons. Very ambitious young man, very respectful young man too.
And the Dragons have begun this game on a 21-9 tear. Palmer back to Vergara. He screens for the Filipinos. Samalanag, show and go. Shot off the front of the iron. And it's Dragons ball going out of bounds. Very little flow for Saigon on the offensive end. Edwards dumping for Hubbard. Hubbard, and that looked like all ball. Nope, foul on Palmer. Let's see if we can get an angle on it here.
Let's look at this. Hubbard spins and Palmer's on him. No contact with the body, Sean. It was all ball, like you said.
Yeah, the Heat may have a beef there. Jason Rabideau unhappy with the call. That is 2 team fouls on the Heat, and we have played less than 2 minutes here in the second quarter. Guga will put it up. Last touch by Armand. If you're just tuning in, the Saigon Heat looking for their first win in 7 games. They have brought 9 players to Kuala Lumpur. Their best Vietnamese player, Minh Tru, a torn ACL he's done for the season. Here's Lauhorn. No foul called. Heat stay with it. Vergara will put it up. Palmer ripping for the offensive rebound and scores on the up and under.
A bit disappointing for the Dragons there, the way they boxed out. They know Palmer has got a huge size advantage. They've really got to position themselves better in the paint, especially when the Heat get their bigs in offense.
Larry Chu coming out for Saigon. Jai Reyes reinserted. A change for Malaysia.
Defense.
Justin Melton coming in for Julius Armor.
Defense.
Lauhorn, no defender on him. Rims out. Hubbard, pass for Edwards. Edwards bangs with Palmer, and Sumalanog on help defense with a strip.
Very good defensive move by Chris.
Palmer, triple try. One and done for Saigon. Moala Tautua into the lane. Edwards. Gavin Edwards is going to get to the line, game in, game out.
Well, he's had a very good first quarter. He had 8 points in the first quarter. And he's rebounding a lot better. But Sean, in my opinion, the Dragons took their foot off the gas a little bit in the end of the first quarter. They've got to always work on playing good, hard-fought quarters. They're known as a team that becomes complacent in the third.
Former Yukon Husky. Edwards at the line. Dragons double up on Saigon at 22-11. Bonson Lee, airtight defense on Alvergara. Kick out Sumalanog. Neither Palmer nor Lauhorn offering much in the way of offensive rebounding. Hubbard sizes up Palmer, and he's called for steps.
Traveling call. Interesting call there, Sean. But the referees, they have the better angle.
6:25 to go in the first half. Sumalanog, Reyes with Melton on him. That's a kick ball off Melton. So they will reset the shot clock to 14 seconds for Saigon. Sumalanog down Broadway. Now the block came after the foul, and the Heat are arguing for a goaltend. See if the ball is on the way down here. Very close.
Very, very close. Thin margins there, Sean.
So Sumalanog, no basket is the call. He's at the line to shoot a pair.
Really quite impressed in the last couple of minutes, Sean, how the Saigon Heat have really worked their offensive set. It's just on execution, in terms of finishing, in terms of shooting, they just lack that finishing touch. But moving around the perimeter, quite entertaining, quite good, I must say. So much better by the Saigon Heat in the second quarter, even though they're down.
1 of 2 for Sumalanog. Melton goes down the middle. Great hands by Edwards, and then the dunk from Hubbard. All started by Gavin Edwards putting a hand in to deny the Heat with the rebound.
Well, you can't stop that, Sean. 6'9". A lot of power and athleticism coming at you.
Foul out on the perimeter, called on Bonson Wee. One of the few healthy Malaysian players for the Dragons.
Not so healthy, Sean. If you can see some tape on his neck. He's had a lot of treatment this week on his neck. Physiotherapist coming in, taping him up.
Healthy is a relative term if you're a Malaysia Dragon. Here's Reyes. Vergara decides to drive. He'll pull up. Ball finding its way back to Alvergara. Now Reyes. Trying to find Lauhorn, and Edwards intercepting that pass. Hubbard from beyond. Melton knocking that one out. Timeout on the floor here at MABA Stadium. As we step away, Dragons 24, Heat 12. Friday Night Basketball has us at MABA Stadium, where the Westport Malaysia Dragons lead the Saigon Heat 24-12. 4:59 to go here in the first half. Moala Tautua has really come on for Malaysia as this season has progressed. This is Alvergara with Bon Sinwi on him. Reyes through a screen, and Marcus Hubbard getting a foot on that as the Heat try to run the pick and roll. Heat continue to struggle to find baskets here on the road in KL. Vergara. Palmer offers up the three. Neither he nor Lauhorn have been able to hit from outside. Tautua. Hubbard. Too strong. Lauhorn with Hubbard behind him. That's the bread and butter of Dior Lauhorn.
That's right. He's really, really good in the paint, Sean. I've said that before. The Dragons do have to be wary of that. He just put 2 shots above Marcus Hubbard.
Tautua baseline, back to Melton. Bond, 3-ball, drains it.
Now Banseno, he's having one of his better games this season, Sean. He's more of a 6-man. Coach Ariel decided to start with him because he does offer something when it comes to pressing, as you can see here. He doesn't give up, he goes with them.
Inside, Lauhorn trying for the flush. Foul is on Edwards, and Lauhorn will go to the stripe. Edwards, unimpressed with that call.
Let's have a look at this again, Sean. Then, ooh, that's an interesting call.
Well, the body of Edwards into Lauhorn, who was off his feet. Looked good from my vantage point. Dior Lauhorn played collegiate ball at 2 different schools. First for Bobby Knight at Texas Tech, and then at the University of San Francisco, where he finished up under another legendary college coach, Eddie Sutton. Tautua bangs with Tew. Oh, Edwards right there for the putback. Gavin Edwards, such a high basketball IQ.
Very intelligent player, I must agree with you there. He played basketball in 3 different countries, Greece, Ukraine, Korea, and in the D-League as well.
Lauhorn hits from deep. That's his first outside shot. So we'll see if he is untracked. He is laboring in his first game back after a 2-game absence, out with a fever. Melton, Tautua, mismatch against Larry Tew, and he victimizes Tew.
I kind of agree with the Saigon Heat. It did, from my vantage point, Sean, it did look like a bit of a travel. But, interesting calls. Referees have the better angle.
Moala Tautua at the line. He has given the Dragons 8 points, 5 rebounds on average.
Now this is another player. You spoke earlier, Sean, about injuries. This is another athlete who's struggled with injuries since preseason. He's always had physiotherapists looking at his back, and he's come a long way. He likes to play through the pain because he just wants to play, but he's in better condition, better nick now.
That free throw pushes the lead back to 12 for Malaysia. Now actually a technical foul was called. And that's why the Dragons are shooting 4 free throws. Gavin Edwards now. Has 13 points for the Malaysia Dragons. The free throws from Edwards were for the technical foul, thus the Dragons now have possession and their lead is back up to 15. Tautua through 2 defenders. Loose ball, Larry Tew has it. The Heat will look for a quality shot. They have been few and far between here. And that's a 3-second call on Lauhorn.
Looks like the Dragons are a little bit disjointed, Sean, in their defense. Really just trying to close the ball down, but they've got to remember they can't give Saigon too much open spaces, because even though the Saigon Heat haven't been hitting their shots this game, they have shooters who can hit them sometimes.
Hubbard jumps to his spot, glances that one off the rim. Minute 46 to go. Lauhorn from the top, finding the rims tight here at MABA Stadium. Athletic move by Melton to go over the advertising. A timeout taken by Jason Robideau with 1:39. We see Melton here go over the high hurdles.
He is aggressive, wants to win the ball. Great competitor, Justin Melton. He has been a revelation ever since the Dragons hired him this season.
The Westports Malaysia Dragons, after tonight's game, will get 4 days off before going to Bangkok on April 3rd to meet the Chiang Thailand Slammers, a game you can see on the ABL live stream For all the news and information concerning the ABL, visit the website, ASEANBasketballLeague.com. You can also follow the ABL on Twitter at ABL News. And if you like, you can like the ABL on Facebook.
Like. Don't you love Facebook?
Dragons coming out of the timeout, leading 33-19. Just 3 team fouls here with 69 seconds remaining. The Heat are over the limit.
Spoke to Al Vergara at the game, Sean, and he was saying, yeah, we played a 2-3 zone last week against the San Miguel Beermen, and that didn't work. So we're going back to man-to-man. But seems to be a bit better, but the execution of getting the points still not quite there yet. So that's what they're going to work on in this game. They still can win this game, in my opinion.
Let's go, Dragons, let's go.
Foul on Palmer, giving the ball back to the Dragons.
Let's go, Dragons, let's go. Let's go,
Justin Melton.
Dragons, let's go.
Oh, look at the space for Marcus Hubbard. Drives inside. Seemed to hesitate in midair. And Jason Robideau telling the Heat to hurry up. Lauhorn. And a foul in the lane. Oh, Marcus Hubbard. First, blowing the basket the other end of the floor, and then comes down and commits the foul.
Let's have a look at it here. He gets it to go on. They're crowding him. And yes, there was contact there. It's a good call.
Dragons had a foul to give. Heat will inbound with 15 seconds on the shot clock. Vergara fakes. Chu getting it back. Vergara with 5 seconds on the shot clock. And Lauhorn committing the loose ball foul. Check that. The foul goes against Malaysia, and Lauhorn will earn 2 at the line.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Sean. It looked like a Dragons ball, but the referee said otherwise. And if he can connect these.
Dior Lauhorn playing for the Leuven Bears in the Belgian league before coming to Saigon. So European experience. 1 of 2 for Lauhorn. His Heat trailed by 14. Melton off a screen. Tautua up for the jam. Fans at MABA love it.
Great unselfish play there. Sees the open man, and Tautua bring the house down and throwing it down.
Lauhorn spin move. 2 from outside. Palmer unable to track that down. So the Dragons will have it with 13.3 seconds left. Ariel Vanguardia will take a timeout and set up for 1 shot to close out the first half.
Well, you'll want to get the next basket for this one. Really keep the momentum up, Sean, because I think by his standards, he'd be a little bit disappointed with the execution by his bigs in terms of consistency in the high post and the low post, because that's what they've been working on all week long. So build-up play is good, but execution not consistent. As you look at the Saigon Heat, they move the ball quite well, but then when it comes to shooting, they just can't make baskets. If you ask me, the Saigon Heat, they just need to find that rhythm, bit of confidence. And once they can make some easy shots, some deuces in the paint, who knows? Come back on.
Certainly, a 16-point deficit can be erased. But for the moment, Dragons with the lead and presumably the final shot here of the first half.
Let's go, Dragons! Let's go! Let's go, Dragons!
Melton scoots into the lane. Vergara, that's a travel. Vergara looked to have tied him up. Now the referee, he's going to get help from another official. That is a travel against Melton.
Fake call. That was a travel. No complaints there.
5.3 seconds left. So the Heat can get a shot off. Lauhorn is going to drive, puts it up off the glass, and that brings the first half to a close. 35-21, thanks to a last-second basket from Dior Lauhorn.
Well, you give Saigon Heat space, and that's what they'll do. Like I said earlier, they just got to do those kind of things. Go for the deuces, go for the simple baskets, and they can get back into this game.
The Westport Malaysia Dragons will take a 14-point lead into the locker room,
If you have a P card, I need 2 of you.
looking for their 8th win of the season. The Saigon Heat, meanwhile, trying to end a 6-game losing streak. And let's go over to Lenora Lowe.
With me is David Tan. He's a senior marketing manager for Glowcom, one of the sponsors for the Westport Malaysia Dragons. David, have you been to a lot of the games here at MABA?
Yes, every game since the beginning of the season.
So far, which is the most exciting game for you at home?
Tonight. Tonight's the most exciting game. The reason why is because the Heat, they have David Palmer and Dior Lohon back in the game again. The top 2 leading scorer in the league. So I was expecting a tough game tonight. It's good to see all the fans are here tonight, even though it's a Good Friday.
You really know your basketball stuff. But your company, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about Glowcom. What exactly does it do?
Glowcom system is a value-added distributor for ICT infrastructure products and services in Malaysia.
And do you play basketball yourself?
I do. I used to. In fact, I do play once in a while now.
Thank you so much, David.
You're welcome.
Back to you guys. And go Dragons! And we are going to go for a short break. Stay with this EBL on Fox.
We are at the half here at MABA Stadium. The Westport Malaysia Dragons leading the Saigon Heat 35-21. Gavin Edwards, the constant for the Malaysia Dragons. Very efficient, Ben Ibrahim, in that first half.
Yes, 13 points and 5 rebounds. Now, Gavin Edwards, as I said at the start of the game, well, he wasn't the most consistent rebounder at the start of the season, even though his numbers were relatively high. But that consistency is really showing. Last week, very good against the Singapore Slingers, and today it's also showing against the Saigon Heat.
And speaking of the Saigon Heat, just nothing doing for them from downtown. The three-point shooting was abysmal in that first half.
Well, they got 1 of 14 three-pointers, Sean, and last week against the Beermen, they had 28 three-pointers. Only 25% of them went in.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Here, Al Vergara trying to attack the basket, and the Saigon Heat began this game with zero offensive flow.
No, their offensive set, Sean, was off. Really couldn't kick into gear, and the Dragons were really more fired up than them, working the boards and taking it to the hold.
Malaysia begins this game with a 14-1 run. There, Larry Tew fouled, but the Dragons, getting in the middle and breaking up these passes, and Melton going off the glass, and Hubbard with that explosive dunk, and he does it again, up for the flush. Heat trying to hit Dior Lauhorn throughout this first half with mixed results.
Well, like I said also earlier, Sean, in the game, the Dragons really trying to get their points in the post. So, you know, they're pretty happy with that. And moves like that, sometimes they haven't been super consistent, but they can't give the Heat, like guys like Lohorn, too much space, as you saw there. Great spin move, just takes it to the basket. There's space there again.
And Julius Armand going against Jai Reyes, that a three-point play opportunity. Lauhorn stymied once again. It wasn't until the second quarter that he really got cooking. All the loose balls going to the Malaysia Dragons, out hustling Saigon in that first half. Here they swing it outside. Bon Sin Wee on the three-pointer. And then Moala Tautua gets help. Gavin Edwards coming over from the weak side. Gavin Edwards always in the right position.
That's right. That's something they've also worked on in training in the last fortnight, Sean, is getting that second chance ball, really boxing out properly and being in the right position to rush in to try to get the rebound. Follow up after you made the shot. That's what Coach Ariel said to the team over the last 2 weeks. Unselfish play. Melton to Tautua, throws it down.
Moala Tautua there with that basket. Dior Lauhorn scores the last one. So it's a 35-21 lead. But one thing that you saw throughout all those highlights was the fact that Malaysia owned things in the paint. 18 points in the paint for Malaysia against just 8 for the Heat. That shooting percentage really hurting Saigon in the first half.
Very much so. But if you look at the turnovers of both teams, Sean, 9 turnovers each team. So both teams have to be really careful when protecting the ball, because that's how you give away points.
With all that said, it's only a 14-point deficit for the Saigon Heat, so certainly doable for them to get back into this game. We'll have more from MABA Stadium when we return. You're watching the ABL on Fox. Welcome back to MABA Stadium. The Westport Malaysia Dragons leading the Saigon Heat 35-21. Sean Farquhar and Ben Ibrahim rejoining you. 6 different Westport Malaysia Dragons into the scoring column in that first half. And if you're Ariel Vanguardia, Marcus Hubbard just 4 of 11. So you've got a 14-point lead, and your most explosive player has really yet to get going, Ben.
No, 8 points only, Sean, in the first half, and he could have had a lot more, but he seems to be a bit hesitant when he goes to the basket. Should I dunk? Should I, float it in? Should I shoot it in? So he's got to be a bit more aggressive and confident when he goes to the hole, but he is a confident man. That's the funny thing.
Dior Lauhorn and David Palmer in that first half combining to shoot 8 of 24. They team up for just 19 points in that first half. They've only brought 9 players to Kuala Lumpur, and Jason Robideau, the coach of the Heat, needs more production from his 2 bigs.
Definitely, and another interesting stat, Sean, 17 of the rebounds, or 17 of the 21 rebounds in the first half came from Dior Lauhorn and David Palmer. So need a little bit more production there, but a little bit difficult if you've only got 9 in the whole squad.
The Malaysia Dragons looking to win their 6th out of 8 games. For the Saigon Heat, a loss here would be their 7th in succession. So, beginning this second half for the Dragons, Moala Tautua, Marcus Hubbard, Bon Sin-Wee, Justin Melton, and Gavin Edwards. For the Saigon Heat, Jai Reyes, David Palmer, Al Vergara, Dior Lauhorn, and Larry Tew. Vergara off the inbound. Saigon Heat began the game very sluggish. Lauhorn looking to work his way back inside. Palmer mistimes his jump. Edwards with the rebound. Hubbard, kick out. Bond, dribble penetration, and hits the floater.
Bon Sin-Wee, Sean, having his best game this season. He's getting more minutes. And that's why Coach Ariel Vanguardia is rewarding him with more game time.
Let's send it over to Lenora Lowe.
Thanks, guys. I spoke with the assistant coach for Saigon Heat, and they said they're going to be working more in the paint for the second half. They lack the manpower, so they can't do a run and gun for the game. And what they're going to do is slow it down as much as they can and take it point by point. This is to fix their executions and not getting a lot of the shots. And even though most of the shots were kind of good, according to what he was saying, at the same time, they need to watch out for Reyes, who is now with 3 fouls because he is their main man. Back to you guys.
Lenora, thank you. Not sure that their shots were kind of good, but for the Saigon Heat, just 21 points in that first half. Melton bringing it up for Malaysia. Reyes giving him room. Hubbard, baseline, hitting Edwards, loose ball. Scramble for it, and Palmer coming up with it. Reyes threads. Lauhorn with a defender coming off his feet. And Dior Lauhorn will head back to the foul line.
Well, that was from the transition play. Gavin Edwards not executing it properly. What's supposed to happen there? He's just supposed to work the screen, Gavin Edwards, and then seal it in the paint. But got to hold on to that ball a bit better. And excellent work for the Saigon Heat, but getting it in transition to the other end of the court. And now they have the ball, chance to put 2 points in.
Lauhorn now 2 of 5 at the free throw line. 15 points for him in that first half.
Let's go,
37-22, Dragons lead. Melton, hands off, Hubbard, swings Guga, Tautua from beyond. Lauhorn pulls down the rebound. Lauhorn from outside the lane, hits the 10-footer.
Good jumper by Lowhorn. Open man there. Uses his size and skill to his advantage. If they can have more of that from Saigon, game on.
Dump inside to Edwards. And that goes off the body of Gavin Edwards.
Let's look at this, Sean. Gavin Edwards tried to spin and move. And yep, good call. Saigon Heat ball. And I must say, Sean, Saigon Heat have come out a little bit stronger in this second half. More aggressive. Really want to get back to this game. Got to work it in the paint, though.
Reyes penetrating. Snuffed out by Edwards. Heat will have it with 14 seconds on the shot clock. Interesting to use Lauhorn to inbound. Lauhorn trying to squeeze it through and does. Ariel Vanguardia has seen enough as the Dragons' lead is cut to 11. Dior Lauhorn has started this third quarter on a tear.
Yes, Dior Lauhorn is having an excellent game, but we're just going to go for a very short commercial break. We'll come back more on Fox Sports.
.11 spread for the Malaysia Dragons as we get you back to MABA Stadium with 7:42 to go. The Dragons here throwing it away on the inbound play. So the Saigon Heat trailing by as many as 19 points in this game. Have the ball down 37-26. Lauhorn with the one hand. That goes. He scored 3 baskets in a row.
Now this is a concern for the Dragons. I have a feeling that Coach Ariel has said to his team during that timeout, you've got to push the big guys out of the paint. That's what they revert to when they're down. A lot of hesitation here from the Dragons, Sean. Not a confident team starting this quarter, and they're letting the Heat slowly back into it.
Now Vergara blocking that. Look at the athleticism here of Al Vergara.
Look, he just rushed, closes it down. That's hustle for you.
No foul called. 8 seconds on the shot clock for Malaysia. Guga, good pass inside. Hubbard swings it. 1 second. Oh, Moala 2 getting one off to beat the shot clock.
He beats the clock and he brings the house down. Now can they keep that going for the Westports Malaysia Dragons, for the home team? They also need this win. They want to hang on to third spot and try to get second.
Vergara from deep. Lauhorn, offensive board. And the foul is on Hubbard. And that is 3 fouls. Check that. 4 fouls on Marcus Hubbard, and he immediately sits down. Reyes, 2 from outside. Still Heat ball. Lauhorn's got a lot more room to operate with Hubbard on the bench.
That's right, because they really need Marcus Hubbard's size when boxing out in the rebounds and working the boards. And don't forget, Dio Lohorn and Dave Palmer, they can work the boards.
Lauhorn, 3 ball is short. Edwards behind everyone. Lays it up. Transition baskets. Killing Saigon. Palmer inside. Gets it off the rim. 3-point play coming up for Lauhorn.
Lauhorn is having a great game. He's really grabbing the bull by the horns. Just being really aggressive there in the paint. Don't forget, look at this, Sean. Slightly the shorter man over Edwards. Don't forget, Gavin Edwards is 6'9", and Lohorn is about 6'7". So yeah, using his build and his physical strength to his advantage. Excellent play, great to watch. This is why we love to watch ABL season 2013.
Lauhorn bouncing back from a fever that kept him out of ABL Hoops Fest. That was 2 games that counted in the regular season standings as the Westport Malaysia Dragons lead is cut to 10.
Well, I was just about to say, Sean, look at the scoreboard. Now the Heat will believe that they can win this game, but just do all the simple things right. Get it to the big men in the paint.
Mualatau Tua with a Dairy Queen swirl, that goes. Heat arguing for a foul. I didn't see any.
Jason Rabideau having kittens on the side there.
Reyes, dribble penetration, Palmer. Lauhorn gets his defender up. Tautua called for the foul. And that's the 3rd foul.
They just looked a bit disjointed here when they're trying to box out there. Sean Mo Tautua doing some sort of gymnastic movement over Lohorn.
3 fouls on Mualatau Tua, and that has to be a real concern for Ariel Vanguardia, because he's already got Marcus Hubbard on the bench with 4.
And Chi Li Wei is the backup to Marcus Hubbard at number 5. And Chi Li Wei, he's not super fit. Don't forget, he is a part-time player with the Malaysia Dragons. So the Dragons have to reinvent themselves a little bit here, and they're going to be tested.
Back to a 10-point lead. Melton. Tautua couldn't handle that pass. Vergara on the pull-up 3. Palmer snatches the rebound. Jai Reyes will go down the middle. And Palmer jumping into it. Foul is on David Palmer.
Well, I think what Coach Ariel Vanguardia is going to do, he's going to try to play this quarter with no Marcus Hubbard at all. See if these Dragons can hold out and sort of build on the momentum of the lead. At the moment, still they can't find a rhythm. And they've just got to position themselves a lot better when boxing out and working the boards.
The Heat down 10. Look for the stop. Edwards, 3 ball. Long rebound. Lauhorn coming up with it. Lauhorn turns around. Spot up Jay is good.
Very good, but they left him with too much open space there, Sean. When you leave the best scorer in the league too open, he's going to punish you with those jumpers.
Lauhorn now with 21. Edwards, corner 3 coming from Guga. Lauhorn active with both hands. Gets the rebound, Reyes. Slices through Lauhorn, 3 ball.
Let's go, Dragons! Let's go! Let's go, Dragons! Let's go!
Guga, bounce pass, Edwards. Pretty reversal from Gavin Edwards.
Very athletic movement there, not giving up. So working the bigs again, Sean. Going back to what they've worked on this week. Look for the mismatches, go for the bigs. Look at that open space again, Sean. And that's
Palmer,
basket.
drainer from downtown. The Dragons unable to switch on defense. Heat within 7. 6 seconds to shoot. Guga gives it. Melton, he hits from beyond the arc.
He can do that. He is a triple threat player. And both coaches have seen enough. They're going to go back to the boards and see what's going to go on.
This is a Saigon Heat timeout with 3:19 in the third. 10-point spread for the Malaysia Dragons, but as you mentioned, Ben, it's a very different complexion.
And look at Melton there. Like I said, Sean, he's a triple threat player. He can do these kind of things. Amazing to watch. But I must say, Sean, I'm really, really enjoying this game in the third quarter. It's come alive.
The Heat, as Lenora mentioned, slowing this game down, forcing the Dragons to foul, getting to the free throw line. Marcus Hubbard in foul trouble with 4 fouls, and I think you're right. We're not going to see him again now till the fourth quarter.
No, not at all. And Coach Ariel Vanguardia will be very, very hesitant to play Chi Li Wei. Not because he's not a bad player or anything, he just doesn't have much game time. He's a part-time player with the team, he's 29 years of age, and he only averages 1 point per game, 2 rebounds, and his average field goal percentage is 25%. And he's very, very, well, not confident, for lack of a better words, in taking shots. So if you can look at the starting 5 here, Sean, he's got Seelan, he's got Melton, he's got Armon. These guys can shoot the basket. So I think Coach Ariel is going to say, guys, if you can hit the rock, shoot it.
You mentioned the Dragons, 4 Saigon, 2 Lauhorn.
Defense! Defense!
Samalanog
Defense!
and Reyes.
Defense!
Lauhorn flipping to Reyes.
Defense! Defense!
8 seconds on the shot clock. Reyes. Seelan keeps that alive. Melton, bounce pass, and that's a hard foul. In fact, it's Tuan No that gives up the body.
Let's look at this here, Sean. And Justin Melton coming at full speed to Armon, and yeah, that is very much bringing him down in the air.
Stops the clock with 2:53 to go in the third.
Come on, come on.
Armon has 4 points.
Now the Heat, they just got to stay in the game, Sean. That sounds like a broken record, but work the bigs. Get into that big man. Slow it down, like Lenora said earlier.
Heat turnover. Jai Reyes can't handle it. Now we get Chris Samalanog in the game. So we see it go off the hands of Dynamite. Seelan. Armon against Chu. 360 move. Armon, no foul called. Oh, Seelan stepping in front of that pass. Armon blocked by Palmer. Chu, now a whistle. There's a foul, and that is called on Armon. Will go against the Dragons, and they're now over the limit, putting Palmer on the line.
Let's look at this great D rejection. Yes, I can do that in your house.
And that was the foul Armon committed. It. Everyone kept going. No one heard that official with the whistle. Important free throws here. Vanguardia very wary of the comeback power of the Saigon Heat.
Exactly, 10-point ball game. And look at the Saigon Heat with those 2 shots, working both ends of the court.
Tautua offers up the 18-footer and cans it.
Great confidence by Mo Tautua, the entertainer of the Dragons, on and off the court.
Tautua has 8. 2, they try and trap him. Palmer left alone. Rebound in the hands of Sela. Horn intercepting the Tautua pass. Reyes has options. Samalanov, show and go, steps back beyond the arc. Rabideau telling the Heat to slow it down. From outside, Edwards comes up with it.
Now it's the Dragons' turn, Sean, to slow it down. They've been all over the place with defense.
Melton. Dragons ball. And Vanguardia will go to his bench. Bond and Chili Wei coming into the game. Ariel Vanguardia. Check that. Jason Rabideau sends in Vergara for 2.
Let's go, Dragons! Let's go! Let's go!
Edwards from outside.
Let's go!
Dragons really did not need a 3 in that situation. Here's Palmer at the other end, and he'll head to the line. Wow, the Westport Malaysia Dragons, they had Edwards take a 3. That didn't work. Palmer at the other end scores, and he can get this down to a 9-point Malaysia lead.
It could be game on, Sean. But one thing that I noticed about the Dragons, Sean, in the last couple of minutes, they're over-committing too many men to one player of the Saigon Heat. Very rushed, very disjointed, a little disorganized, and they leave the Dragons with open men. And now it's a 9-point lead.
With Palmer completing that 3-point play. You're exactly right. 35 seconds on the clock here in the 3rd. G gives to Bond. Chili Wei. One bounce back outside of Melton. A whistle. And the foul called on Toe out on the perimeter. So now 14 seconds on the shot clock. Heat will be happy to just snuff out any Dragons attack here. Melton jumps to a spot for Guerra with the pass. At the other end, basket will go with 5 seconds left. The Saigon Heat have made this a 7-point game. Melton putting that one up, nearly scoring. Would have counted had it gone. The Saigon Heat, trailing by as many as 19 points in this game, are down by 7 heading into the 4th. And a very different game here in the second half. The 4th quarter when we return. You're watching the ABL on Fox. We return you to live Friday Night Basketball here on Fox Sports. Fourth quarter set to come, and the Saigon Heat on the comeback trail. Ben Ibrahim, they have brought the Westport Malaysia Dragons lead all the way down to 7 points. It was the Dior Lauhorn show in that third quarter.
Definitely, Sean, and you got to give credit to also the rest of the Heat for working both ends of the floor and really letting the big guys, the bigs of the Saigon Heat, open space to get the deuces. As for the Dragons, the third quarter has never been their strongest point. They get relatively complacent, and it wasn't helped by Marcus Hubbard being in foul trouble.
Bonsin Wee tightening up, so they will tend to him. The story, if you're a Westport Malaysia Dragons fan, Marcus Hubbard playing with 4 fouls. He sat for most of that third quarter. He is out on the floor to begin the fourth, but one more and he's done for the night.
Yes, he's done for the night, and who do you replace him with? Chibi Wei? Well, you know, a great player with a great attitude, but ability, not so much. Like I said, he's a part-time player. And Lynn, over to you.
I'm sure you guys saw what's going on with Bond. Well, nothing to worry about. It's just that his quads are a little bit cramped. So Physio is just trying to loosen it up. He'll be back in the game very soon. But I gotta say that what the Heat had set out to do, which was to rough the Dragons a little bit, is working. They're down with a lot of foul troubles. If you take a look at that. Back to you guys. I'll come back with stats.
Thank you, Lenora. Alver Guerra, Jai Reyes, Dior Lauhorn, David Palmer, and Chris Sumalanov begin the fourth for Saigon. Foul committed by Gavin Edwards. He's on the floor with Hubbard, Justin Melton, Guga, and Moala Tautua. They've got Hubbard out on the perimeter. Palmer for 3. Guga saving it in the corner.
Let's go, Dragons! Let's go! Let's go, Dragons!
Dior Lauhorn now with 29 points. He had 14 in that third quarter alone. Edwards, too much off the glass. It falls into the hands of Lauhorn, who has 13 rebounds. Samalanov thought about the outside shot. Reyes distributes to Palmer. Palmer trying to get position. Back outside, a deuce for Alver Guerra.
Great aggression around the perimeter by the Saigon Heat. Really never gave up. Look for the open man, and Jai Reyes, he can make those jumpers. Dragons need a basket, Sean.
Screen slipped by Vergara. Foul down on the baseline.
Looks like Lenora said ruffling the feathers of the Dragons is working for the Saigon Heat. Only a 5-point ball game. Dragons look a bit not very confident. Melton for the 2 and for the layup, and it goes in.
And that will buoy the Malaysia Dragons with Justin Melton getting into the act. Reyes, Vergara from the top. This is Palmer. Drainer.
He drained it because overcommitment. 2 men on 1 when it came to defense for the Dragons. Very careless defending there. They've got to go into their defensive zone in a more organized structure.
From outside. All net for Justin Melton. He has scored twice in a row for the Dragons.
Bit of miscommunication there.
Reyes comes off the screen and hits. He is the 3-point specialist, and through 3 quarters, that's his first triple. Melton kicks. Guga back to Mouse Melton with a defender in his face. Vergara comes up with it. Blocking foul on Tautua. I'm sure Jason Robideau telling his Heat players, attack your defender, with the Dragons facing guys in all kinds of foul trouble.
Exactly. Really pressure them into that situation.
For Tautua, that's his 4th. So both Hubbard and Tautua now playing with 4 fouls. And we have 7 minutes to go in the 4th. Sumalanov rotates inside, and a pass too tall for Lauhorn.
Did you look at Marcus Hubbard there, Sean? He was very, very, well, scared to commit to defense because one more foul and he's gone. And Tautua could be joining him. So these guys have to really watch it when it comes to going into their defensive zone.
Tautua baseline. That will score, and he'll go to the line for one more.
And he's pumped up about that because he's been playing a little conservative in the last couple of minutes because of foul trouble. He wants to push out the lead for the Dragons. Look at that.
There he toasts Chris Sumalanov.
Hey, hey! Okay, stop here. It's 31 points. 31 points.
You can hear Ariel Vanguardia literally saying, "Stop, Lauhorn. He's got 31 points."
He doesn't need a megaphone.
He's imploring his Dragons to stop Dior Lauhorn. Tautua completes the 3-point play. He has 13 tonight. Reyes back, Palmer. Here's Tautua behind the Saigon Heat defense. Moala Tautua with 15. Jason Robideau wants to talk it over with 6:23.
Better transition play by the Westports Malaysia Dragons. They're working both ends of the court much better, and they've got to do that a bit more consistently. But at the same time, Sean, being very careful on foul trouble.
We'll take a break and return you to MABA Stadium with the Dragons up by 10. We hope you're enjoying Friday Night Basketball live on Fox Sports. The Malaysia Dragons leading the Saigon Heat 62-52 with 6:23 to go in the 4th quarter. Marcus Hubbard and Moala Tautua for the Malaysia Dragons, each playing with 4 fouls.
Well, they've got to watch it, Sean. Still a lot of time left in this game for the Saigon Heat.
Very Jew baseline. He can't complete the reversal. Tautua is hacked. The foul is on Alvergara. And the horn is not stopping here. All right, we have a problem with the game clock here at MABA Stadium. The clock is stuck on 6:23. That's where we were coming out of the timeout. Jason Robideau is pointing that out to the officials. So what they should do here is stop play and get that figured out.
Well, did a bit of eavesdropping when we were on a commercial break, Sean, and I heard Coach Ariel Vanguardia said, get the ball to Guga. Guga is one of the best three-point shooters in the league, so he can nail them whether it's three-pointers or just jumpers in the paint. So they're looking for deuces, looking for simple shots, not trying to be too adventurous and just hang on to that lead, because the Saigon Heat are trying to ruffle the Westports Malaysia Dragons, the home team.
(63-52). Let's see if they've got the game clock fixed. Thumbs up from the official. And in fact, now a 13-point lead for the Dragons. It's 65-52. Tautua, Hubbard. Back to Tautua. Marcus Hubbard called for traveling.
Dragons will be disappointed with that. Guga this one. Batumalai, team captain, was in the deep corner. He was spotting up for a three-point shot, but his guys did not give him the ball.
And Ariel Vanguardia, Ben, to echo that, he threw his arms up in frustration. Let's quickly go over to Lenore Lowe.
Coach Ariel just now was screaming that he doesn't want his team to be complacent, and checked on Ban. His whole body is cramping, and physio said that he isn't going back into the game. Another problem for the Dragons other than foul issues. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Lenora. So it doesn't look like we will see Bon Sin-Wee again here. Moala Tautua, basket goes. He'll head to the line once more.
The hoop and the harm, and he's pumped up for this. Let's look at that Guga. Good pass there, but Tautua just goes for the layup, drops it in. It says, in my house, in MABA, here I am.
Moala Tautua with Marcus Hubbard in foul trouble. Tautua is unshackled here by Ariel Vanguardia. On his way to a 20-point plus game.
Well, this is one of his better games, Sean, and I must say, I've gotten the opportunity to know Mo Tautua, Moala Tautua, over the last couple of weeks. Great guy, but one thing I do have to share with you and the viewers, he hasn't been the same ever since he missed that dunk against the Singapore Slingers in Singapore. He's always got a point to prove every game. He wants to make those rebounds, he wants to make those shots, he wants to stay aggressive for 4 quarters.
Here he is, having the game of the season. You've got to go and bring up that missed dunk. Well, Ben, that's just downright cruel.
It is cruel, but you got to be cruel to be kind, Sean.
Palmer for the flush on the one-hander. Heat within 13. 5:10 to play in the fourth. Entry pass, and the foul is on Tew, who is behind Tautua.
If you think that you're the greatest Dragon fan out there, make sure you check out our new Facebook app for your chance to win a round trip.
That hurts them, as Malaysia will be shooting free throws the rest of the way.
Away from home, log on to FB.com.
These free throws will come in handy, Sean. They want to push out back to that lead. The Saigon Heat not going away. Hopefully they can still make a game of it. Still think there's still plenty of time for that comeback that I've spoken about in this game.
I have Tautua with 18 points. So the VIPs here at MABA Stadium liking what they are seeing midway through the fourth quarter. Reyes offers the 3. It has not been a good shooting night for Jai Reyes.
Bit disappointing by Jai Reyes' standard by not making the shots. Forget he does average 13 points per game.
Scoreless through the first 3 quarters.
Let's go, Dragons, let's go.
Edwards, kick out, Melton from beyond. Heat now have to hurry these possessions. Samalanov. And the three is abandoned.
Both teams not executing at the moment.
Oh, Edwards, and he slips. The feet went out from under Gavin Edwards. Play continues at the other end, and they slide the other end of the floor, and the officials are going to get people out there to wipe the perspiration off both ends of the floor.
Dangerous play here, Sean. Two players, one from each team, could have got severely injured. Let's look at this. Gavin Edwards open, slips. Whoa. Could have easily rolled an ankle, even fractured his leg.
Yeah, MABA Stadium resembling a skating rink here with 4:05 to go. The Westports Malaysia Dragons looking for their 6th win in 8 games. And the Heat in real danger of dropping their 7th consecutive game.
Well, Coach Ariel has told his team in the last fortnight, Sean, that look, we should be aiming, or we can get second this season, which will benefit the Dragons during the playoffs.
Yes, second place means you have home court advantage in the semifinals. Dragons finished 3rd in the 2012 season, and we're on the road against the San Miguel Beermen in the first round of last season's playoffs. Big April coming up for the Dragons. They get the 2 teams above them, the Warriors and Beermen, 3 times in the month. So a chance to cut in to the 3-game deficit facing Malaysia.
Well, speaking of schedule, Sean, Coach Ariel has told his team as well that he really, really wants to beat Indonesia when they come to MABA in about 2 weeks' time, because really those games against Indonesia could have been won.
The Dragons have lost all 3 meetings against Indonesia. Melton outside. 3:55 to go. 12-point lead. Here's Moala Tautua. Kicks to Guga. Guga putting it on the floor. Edwards out high, and he slides again. Now a traveling is called on Gavin Edwards, but this is a sturdy player, and you have to think there is moisture on that part of the floor.
That didn't look like a travel, Sean.
Well, the travel was called because of him sliding on the floor with the ball. So they come out to dry it up. Players sliding everywhere here on the floor of MABA Stadium.
Well, a lot of perspiration in this game, Sean, because both teams have really gone hard at it over the last 4 quarters. As we saw earlier, the Saigon Heat really trying to be aggressive and physical with the Dragons to throw him off their game, and it did work to a certain point during the game, especially in the 3rd quarter.
Both coaches over to complain. Heat ball with 3:43 to go. And now they have to start thinking about a 3 just about every time down the floor.
Safety hazard at the workplace at the MABA Stadium, Sean. Really got to get things cleaned up. Look, Justin Melton even getting into it.
Brought his own towel.
Looks like a jersey. Look at this. This is housekeeping class.
Don't tell me that they are desecrating a Malaysia Dragons warm-up shirt. My goodness.
Players would do anything for the win, Sean.
So a couple of malfunctions here in the 4th quarter. The game clock failing to start to begin the 4th. From courtside, here's Lenora Lowe.
Right, because I just want to add, Justin Melton, he went into that because if you notice, he also slipped just now, and he looked like he was limping just a little bit, so that'll be another reason why. Just wanted to add. Back to you guys.
Penetrating insight from Lenora Lowe. Thank you. 3.5 to play here at MABA. Lauhorn, Samalanag. Palmer trying to save it.
Notice how they double team Palmer there, the bigs of the Westports Malaysia Dragons, Sean. Good move, but it does free up the guards. Guys like Jai Reyes and the other guys who can, well, sometimes shoot the ball. Saigon Heat, not very consistent with their shooting, especially in this game and over the last few games.
Rabideau going back to the Reyes Vergara backcourt. Guga looking to work off a screen. Pick and roll action with Edwards. Foul coming from Reyes, and Gavin Edwards will go back to the line.
Dragons will just want to make simple baskets now, Sean. Slow the clock down. Got about just over 3 minutes till the end of the game. They really want to secure this win before they go on the road. They go to Thailand next week. They've got to be wary of the Florin Baguio and Chris Charles show in Bangkok.
Gavin Edwards at 17 through 3 quarters. On his way to another 20 and 10 performance. Next week also pivotal for the Westport Malaysia Dragons. April 7th is the deadline to finalize your roster for the remainder of the ABL season. So at the moment, the 2 imports in play for Malaysia, Gavin Edwards, who you see here, and Marcus Hubbard. Cedric Bozeman, who has had an injury, he's the 3rd import. You can only carry 2, so the Dragons have a decision to make.
Well, I asked Coach Ariel Banguade that question just about 10 days ago. You know what he said, Sean? Nice decision problem to have. So.
Yeah, Bozeman, a real scorer. A little smaller than Marcus Hubbard. So the Filipino fans here, I'll tell you, they've had a strong performance from the Philams of the Malaysia Dragons. Both Moala Tautua and Justin Melton getting it done tonight. Perspiration issues delaying the restart here with 3:07. Lead is out to 14 for the Dragons.
Defense! Defense! Defense!
2 on the wing.
Defense! Defense!
Reyes inside, Lauhorn, and Marcus Hubbard will let him have that.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to be fouled out. He wants to stay in the game. But right now, showing the Saigon Heat, they're going to go for trays.
Edwards down Broadway for the score. Another player crashing to the floor. And I haven't seen a game this season where there's been so much problems getting the court dry.
This is not pretty, Sean.
Reyes, yeah, it looks like he has pulled a muscle. Take a look.
Gavin Edwards.
Yeah.
Yep, going for it. Yeah, he just pulled out there because of the slip. Never nice to see those kind of things.
And hopefully Jay Ross, who is coming off the court on his own volition. But another injury to the Heat would be disastrous. They only have 9 guys here in Kuala Lumpur. Min Tu, their best Vietnamese player, is done for the season with a torn ACL. He tore it up in their loss to San Miguel at Hoops Fest. So we get restarted here with 2.5 to go. 2. Quiet night. Palmer from outside. That's a brick. Jaireas, after a brief spell on the bench, re-enters the action.
Dragons will just be happy to see out this game, Sean. Just over 2 minutes, slowing it down, not being too ambitious. They feel like they have to win, but they would be happy with this game. Their execution today, not consistent, a little sloppy at times. Very good in the first quarter, though. Edwards to the basket. Oh, rims out.
And I think he's pulling up lame. Yeah, he is hobbling, coming back down. Vergara at the other end. Misses on the 3. Edwards, not at full tilt. And he slides. Look at that. You can literally see the moisture on the floor in the paint. And they'll try and dry that off. Someone is about to get hurt.
Well, someone is about to throw a major complaint at the Dragons and at the MABA management of this.
Yeah, you see Edwards, his leg is tightened up. He has fallen down. He has slipped, it's more accurate to say, multiple times.
So Quick comes on. Quick 10, number 10 for the Dragons comes on for the injured Gavin Edwards. Quick 10 hasn't had much game time this season, averages 3 points per game, 1 rebound, average field goal percentage is 40%, but he is a player for the future, according to Coach Ariel and the management team of the Westports Malaysia Dragons.
A minute 40 to go here in the fourth. 72-58. So this one in the bank for the Dragons. Guga. And that 3 is knocked down by Chen Yuen Kwek.
Gavin.
Lauhorn up to rock the rim with the issue long decided.
Well, it's decided, Sean. Look at Hubbard. He just says, okay, you can have it. I'm not going to contest this. But we see a different side of Marcus Hubbard here tonight in his game. And when he's in foul trouble, he stiffens up and plays a very safe game.
As he should. Chen from outside. Really no need for the 3 here with a 15-point lead. Palmer will go to the rack. Clock stops as Palmer is on his way to complete a 3-point play.
Look, Sean, even though this game is probably done and dusted for the Westports Malaysia Dragons, the home team, but I think Coach Jason Rabideau, he'll tell his team, look, if you can get within single digits, that will lift the confidence of the team. Because don't forget, the Saigon Heat have lost by some huge margins in their losing streak over the last couple of weeks, especially against the San Miguel Beermen, 80 points to 55 in Vietnam.
Yeah, and Saigon has to go to Singapore tomorrow to get ready to meet the Singapore Slingers on Sunday afternoon.
And they'll go with a battered and bruised team, Sean. Sore muscles after this one.
Melton. I notice players now staying out of the lane at that end of the floor, and wisely so. Palmer, double pump, follows up his own miss.
And that is the game, Sean. The Westports Malaysia Dragons get another victory here at their home court.
They run their record to 8-6. They have now won 6 of their last 8 games. And for the Saigon Heat, their struggles continue. They drop to 3-8, having lost 7 straight games. 31 points, 33 points rather for Dior Lauhorn. Not enough. They got as close as 5 points in that fourth quarter. But the Westport Malaysia Dragons, as Mualatau Tua, what a night he had. We'll get his final score line when we come back, but about a 20-point night for Mualatau Tua. Jai Reyes for the Saigon Heat, very quiet. They could have used his offense.
Well, they could have. He was very disappointing tonight. I remember last season, he was much better with the Bangkok Cobras. That's why they called him the Bangkok Mamba when he played with the Cobras, but he hasn't been his best. And he's still a young player, young athlete, only 26 years of age. And he can make the difference in a game. But tonight, Sean, I mean, I thought in the third quarter, the Saigon Heat really came into it and was going to cause an upset, but lost a bit of their rhythm.
You hear Ariel Vanguardia talking to his team. So they go to 8-6. And trying to stay within hailing distance of both the Indonesia Warriors and the San Miguel Beermen.
Also, if you think that you're the biggest Dragons fan,
For Ariel Vanguardia, he has got to be pleased with the way that the Westport Malaysia Dragons closed out this one, and he's standing by with our Lenora Lowe.
Thanks very much, guys. Awesome win, Coach. Congratulations. And I have to say that turnovers was a slight problem, just a slight problem for the team today. How are you going to fix that for the next few games?
Well, we have to give credit to Saigon. They're well coached. They're a tough team. As I mentioned, they're a dangerous team. Those losses that they had, they only had one of their American imports. So if they have both, I think they'll have a better standing. And it's dangerous. They're gonna rack up wins starting from now, and they're a dangerous team. They limited us in the third quarter. They were able to come back, but good thing we made our shots in the fourth.
And also, you're making your way to Thailand early April. So what are your preparations to go against the Chang Thailand Slammers?
They're a pretty big team, so we haven't played Brannon yet, so he's a good pickup for them. Charles has been killing us in the boards, and we know them, Bagyon. And, Coach Bryant always coach their locals pretty well, so they'll be pumped up playing at home. And, we're just going to keep on doing what's working with us, and hopefully, we steal that win in Thailand.
Last question. Early on, you were saying to your team, don't be complacent. What exactly did you tell the Dragons?
As I mentioned, they're a dangerous team. They will not let up. They will not give up. They're well coached and they will make runs. We have to stay in our game plan. If we don't make our shots, we gotta do the little things. Getting about the offensive rebound, boxing out, and doing the little things on defense too, helping out.
Thank you very much, Coach. Word of the game is make sure you make those shots. Now we're going for a short break. Stay with us. This is ABL on Fox.
Ben Ibrahim, Marcus Hubbard playing with foul trouble. Moala Tautua stepping right into his shoes.
That's right, and also Gavin Edwards, both Gavin Edwards and Moala Tautua getting 21 points. But the Saigon Heat, Sean, in my opinion, they should be proud of that performance because they didn't come here with a very big squad and they out-rebounded the Westports Malaysia Dragons, the home team, 41 rebounds to 36. So a lot of confidence going to Singapore this Sunday.
Got the Dragons lead down to as little as 5 points, but as Ariel Vanguardia said in an interview after the game, the Dragons were able to make their shots in the critical fourth quarter.
That's right, that's right. So let's look at the RHB play of the day where it was absolutely great. Bit of floor trouble for both teams. Here's Tautua, he just says, goes and drops it in over Palmer, and he says, yes, big man, in your face, bumping off Palmer. And classic play by the big man, and he'll be rapt about that, Sean, because that's his best game of the season.
21 points for Moala Tautua and the RHB play of the game. Let's take a look at what is upcoming on the ABL calendar. As mentioned, the Saigon Heat will go to the indoor stadium in the Lion City to meet the Singapore Slingers. Then, on Wednesday, 2 games for you. The Indonesia Warriors entertaining the Saigon Heat. That's their 3rd game for Saigon in 6 days. The Chiang Thailand Slammers hosting these very own Westport Malaysia Dragons. You can see all 3 games on the ABL live stream.
Well, Saigon Heat, they won't be happy with that schedule, but they've just got to step up. As for Malaysia, they're also a bit bruised and battered, but they'll be going to Thailand and they'll be facing a Thailand team, a Chiang Thailand Slammers team, who'll be hungry for the win. Chris Charles, Florin Bagion, Dasum, guys like that, they'll be hungry, they'll be up for it, and they'll want to beat the Dragons on their home court.
Dragons continuing to roll. They are now 8-6. The Saigon Heat have lost 7 straight. That'll do it for Lenora Lowe and Ben Ibrahim. I'm Sean Farquhar. You've been watching Friday Night Basketball on Fox Sports. We'll say good night from Kuala Lumpur.